live.
What's that?
We are live.
Oh, all right, Steve. Well, you got me at the. I'm cooked.
Yeah,
Episode 4 is done.
It's been a long couple of days.
But we're done. Well, I mean, we're going to go listen to it and edit it, but we have the episode 4, which I am telling you, guys out there, it is I think the best episode and the wildest episode yet. I think by far. I mean, I guess we recap it rather than. I mean, I don't know. We can talk about episode 3, I guess, first. About Diana Natale, who now, of course, is going. It's amazing. I leave my old show to get away from lunatics, and I bring in more. When I do this show, Diana's now creating fake Facebook accounts, doing this whole thing, and saying I'm a lunatic and
Crazy Kirk.
And I would just say,
a lot of Trump in her.
as I just said on Florida radio station promoting the case. And do me a favor, because it does matter. I don't know why, but it does. Go right now, if you listen to this next couple of days, go leave a 5-star review, please, for the case. Though Steve is not happy about. So let's go over some of these 1-star reviews. Steve is very frustrated, pissed off, angry. The show is the case has been, by any standard, remarkably successful. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well,
numbers are huge.
Well, there's really only one standard that matters. Numbers.
What's that?
The numbers.
Numbers are great. The feedback has been great. Steve is hyper-focused on 4 people who hate the case on Apple, correct?
Well,
my friend Dan Riccio at Apple. Give me some of the...
Drew17 says...
Drew17.
Episode 3 was brutal. A lot of talking from Kirk and random names being used like we were familiar with them.
Okay. All right, it's 1 star.
Yes, that was 1 star. 2 stars from Sophium. Literally too many stories. Literally can't keep the story straight. Way too many names, places, etc.
Well, I will say one of these Twitter accounts I saw, I don't know, one of these ones that's all about the case or whatever, actually laid out a pretty good. Did you see this?
Yes, it was like
They do a podcast about it, which I'm sure is very good.
They did a write up and they had to put out like a
storyboard
a map.
And it's sort of. This person related this person. They did a good job. I don't know. They should run our website. Go ahead.
And I think it's a podcast that should be listened to multiple times because there's nothing in there on accident.
No. Yeah, we're and I mean, if we're too detailed, I apologize. But there are going to be a lot of names, and I understand that. But this isn't a one-off recap. We talk about things, and we're going to introduce even more characters in this next episode. Though I think it's a little simpler. But I don't know, like. We get so caught up in it. Like, say episode 3, for example, who are they talking about? Like, who's like Verville or Diana? I mean, I think we pretty much lay out who these people are.
I guess so. Maybe some of the witnesses that we talked to,
Loretta,
I could see how
Loretta
that Welsh.
Yeah, I could see how that could be. Yeah, I get it. I mean, look, if you're a dummy, don't listen to the podcast. It sounds like you guys are dummies. No surprise.
Somebody wants to know, has anyone asked about using ground penetrating radar at that house in Brockton where Jennifer is rumored to have been buried?
Steve, this is a planted question, but go ahead.
It's not a planted question. Michael O'Hare asked that question. Well, it's interesting you asked that, Michael O'Hare. Because yes, we are in communication with a ground penetrating radar company, and we are going to contact the current owner of that property and see if we can rent out the backyard and investigate. But we're not real sure exactly what we would find if there was something buried back there. But
well, I mean, it's worth trying.
It's worth checking out. Yeah,
absolutely. We're going to do that. Some other case news and notes. Let me think. So. Yeah, episode will be up Monday at noon for sure. It's funny. I just want, like I said, one on this Florida radio station, 102.5 The Bone, and this guy said that this is the one thing I've gotten a lot of wildly divergent reaction to. This guy likes the fact that it's once a week. Yeah, sort of the old traditional television. And you were saying that though our rating on iTunes we're still in the top 20 overall, which 4 weeks in is great. You thought they would be ranked number 1 if we did them all at once.
Well, I don't really know exactly how it works.
Well, neither do I, and I don't really care. But I would say that what we're trying to do most is bring attention to Jennifer's case and Faith's case and the case of others, as you'll hear in the next episode. If we did an 8-episode run and it was 3 weeks ago, wouldn't be part of the conversation right now.
Yeah, I think it keeps people talking for sure. And there's an element of suspense to it too, where people don't know.
And we're still working on it. We just talked to somebody a half hour ago that we're going to put in the future episode. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't. In future seasons, we're not doing that. So we may have someone that can before we start, but I don't know. What?
I'm just scrolling through the YouTube looking for any questions. Has the FBI been involved?
I don't think so.
Did they ever take cadaver dogs to any of these locations?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we know for a fact that dogs have been used in
Jennifer's case,
and also in Faith's case.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah, yes, we're going to discuss that later. There's some wild stories about stuff involving Jennifer, not involving Jennifer, but people who reached out to claim information that's false, and then in a later episode, you'll hear about a potential Jennifer sighting. That's what I would say, years after 1989.
Yeah. After, so basically we've got 4 episodes done. Which of the episodes has been your favorite to work on?
4.
Yeah.
The last
I think so as well.
4. I would go 4, 1, 2, 3. I've liked them working on them all. Well, I did like doing the Diana stuff. I didn't like it, but I like knowing with the irritator.
Crazy Kirk. She's Sarah Smith on Twitter. If people are
not on Twitter.
Sorry, on Facebook. On Facebook. Yeah.
Well, don't make that kind of crazy accusation. She, Inspector Gadget.
Yes.
Yeah. Fake news. Fake news.
I think episode 4 is the wildest one yet.
I think so too, and I think it's the most, in some ways, the most. They're all troubling, but I think the most important thing to remember is, like I said a minute ago, like this is about bringing attention to Jennifer and Faith's case. Like this started with me talking to a vet about Jennifer, and I want that attention. We've heard a lot from the Oconee County Sheriff. They've been very helpful with us, and I'm not saying the Brockton police can or should or shouldn't be, but boy, we are getting way more feedback from down in South Carolina.
Yeah, definitely.
And Yvette is the greatest. She's literally the nicest person you'll ever meet in your life. She's been so helpful to us, and her mom Dottie as well. I just want more attention to Jen's case, just so they can get some closure. I'm dying for that for them. So I really hope that some of that happens in Brockton as well. I really do.
And it does seem like when you're doing a cold case podcast, there's this pressure to have solved a crime, and that's the measure, the standard of success for a true crime podcast is if you get
it just happened,
killer
like
in jail.
Yeah, which is great.
I mean, I think that's like the gold standard, and I think you're aiming for that. But
we are.
I think you could still do something good and tell a captivating story without that ultimately happening.
Yes, and that's what we're aiming. That is what we're aiming to do. Any other questions, Steve?
Let's see. Without any remains found to this point, how strong a case do you feel there would be against Kevin Mailer if it went to trial?
Listen to the episode on Monday.
Yeah,
that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Listen to that Monday's episode.
And we know, I mean, people have been prosecuted in the absence of remains before,
for sure.
So it's happened, but you need strong other evidence, I would say.
Yes, listen to Monday's episode.
What was the reasoning behind episodes going back and forth between Jennifer and Faith? Did you think about going chronologically from when you started investigating?
We did a little bit at the start, but that is honestly just too confusing. It's sort of like movies are almost never shot. It's very, very rare. The movies are shot chronologically in terms of, how the script goes. You just bounce around. And I like the idea of doing an episode in Brockton, episode in South Carolina, episode in Brockton. We're back in South Carolina for episode 4. Episode 5, we're going to go to upstate New York, which is, though, really essentially kind of like going back to Brockton's story, though.
Yeah. And I think episode 5, I mean, the episode 5 just get really wilder and wilder. Like, I don't think we're going to do something in episode 5 that I don't think a lot of true crime podcasts have done before.
For sure not. And yeah, it's going to be, And then episode 6, we're back in South Carolina. And episode 6 and 7 is a chance we might be back to back in South Carolina. And episode 8 is the finale for now. I mean, I suspect we're not done with this case. It's just my guess. I think it's going to be.
Are you headed back to Walhalla anytime soon? Maybe around the start of May.
May 4th and May 5th. I'd rather be in Walhalla, South Carolina, Or I don't know how popular I'll be in Walhalla, South Carolina this time.
I don't think you're very well liked in Walhalla.
By some, I think we are.
Yeah.
Some we're not.
Yeah.
But yeah.
There's a lot of people reaching out, asking, demanding that they never be talked about on the podcast.
Which I get. If it's somebody that, if it's a family member, or a relative or a friend or somebody that we like or somebody we think is a good person, we've done this. Like, we're fine doing that. If it's somebody who we think has done something wrong, and knows they've been interviewed and knows they've been recorded and they can play, it's,
I mean, it's journalism. Like,
right, yeah.
I'm sure there are plenty of people who would rather not be written about in the New York Times or the Washington Post, but they don't get to decide that.
Oh, so in this world, you consider that journalism?
Yes.
In this pretend, in the case world, you consider Washington Post and New York Times journalism?
No, but I'm.
So now you're middle of the road, Steve. When you're on, I think
there are journalists who work for the Washington Post and the New York Times. I may not always agree with their tactics and their bent. I'm just saying, like, my point was,
I know
the way journalism works, you don't get to decide whether you're talked about or written about.
No, but I will say I'm happy to protect good people who tell us something and say, hey, you can use this, but I don't want my sound played. If it helps us further the story,
if they tell us,
and if you gain their confidence, they're going to tell you some other stuff later. Like, that's how it works. Mm-hmm. You should pay attention. We're the best two fucking journalists in America.
Correct.
No doubt about it. Any other questions from these idiots?
Could the no?
Okay. No. You're not asking that? No.
If that's in the chat room.
Oh, she is. Yeah. What is she doing?
Talking about Diana.
Oh God. Now you gotta love her. What was the other case note I had? Sort of big picture. I will say episode 4 will probably clock in around 50 minutes or no? Mid-40s?
Yeah, around there.
Okay. Yep. And episode 5 is going to be really long.
It is. It'll be a nice meaty episode.
Yeah. What, an hour and a half?
Yeah, maybe longer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's true. It might be a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and so will episode 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just a lot going on.
A lot going on. And it's happening. I mean, we were talking the last time we did one of these live streams, we were saying, you could get a phone call or a Facebook message.
Could happen right now.
Could change everything. Well, it was funny because last time we said that, it happened. We get a phone call from one of our sources in Walhalla who gave us some information that turned out to be true.
What's that?
I'm talking about my guy. Can't talk about what he told us.
Al?
Yeah.
What, about a letter?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't helpful.
But I'm just saying, like, it was good information that we needed to track down, and it may turn out to be helpful.
It could turn out to be helpful, but we didn't. Yes. Yeah, I suppose that's true. No, you're right. You're right.
You mentioned the radio station in Florida. How much other media has reached out to you recently to speak about the case?
Well, should we say this or no? You feel confident enough? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen.
It sounds like your old pal Kirk Minihane is going to be featured on Access Hollywood. Woohoo. Talking about the case.
Yeah, they've asked
my friend Billy Bush interviewing me or no? Is this still here?
We just need to, get some paperwork out of the way. They need releases signed and everything, but they're very excited about doing something. So I'm sure we'll have something set up. But the old guard media in Boston and elsewhere haven't really reached out.
No.
I thought initially that the Wall Street Journal might be interested in covering it from a business perspective.
Did you pitch it to him or no?
Well, somebody pitched it to him.
The idiots at Barstool?
Yes. No. I thought that they'd be interested in just Barstool expanding into a new genre of podcast, but I guess you gotta
remember, I am like radioactive. Like Boston media is not. Nobody's going to touch us in the Boston media. Nobody.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could probably like tweet out video of yourself actively, like, solving any of these cases.
They would just ignore it. Right?
They would just ignore it.
Yeah, that's
all of a sudden it wouldn't be newsworthy. But if like PBS or any of these government funded projects did anything,
question. Yeah, I mean the Globe has had so many shitty podcasts that they've promoted, and they're awful, and 6 people don't listen to it. This has a bigger audience than any radio show in Boston by 10, and it's about what's amazing to me is like the Brockton Enterprise has done nothing on this.
Yeah, you think it'd be a gimme for him,
I can say fucking on YouTube, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, where do we play the sound of that? And then just a regular show thought we would play the sound of this dummy CEO of YouTube, though.
Oh yes.
Oh my God, that'll be fun to do. Back on the regular show on Monday with Mike Geary, and Ryan Whitney joins us next week. If you're a Minute fan listening, so yeah, go ahead.
Just looking. Oh, have you gotten any information from the Reddit thread? Some people who are following the case very closely are,
yes, everyone thinks
highly interested.
Everyone thinks
they're
an expert, and I will say this: I pay attention to everything. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, did you see this Facebook?" I have not everything I've seen so far. I've seen before.
Yes,
I
haven't seen anything new.
But I appreciate, like, I'm not being like, I just because you got to remember where
we had a 5-month head start.
Yeah, we're way ahead of you. We're way ahead of you. Now it's like keep firing away because you never know. I hope I can learn something. But
any recent conversations with Kevin Mailer?
No, there's not been.
No. Nor Diana.
No, Diana changed. It sounds like she changed her phone number, right? We didn't get the same answer. We called her today.
Yeah, she's taken to accusing other people who lived in Brockton at the time of having a sexual relationship with the disabled girl,
right?
We mentioned in episode 3.
Well, she was in her care, right?
Yes,
it's great defense.
Yeah.
Just a wretched person. I mean, just an evil human being. You know, she pled guilty to this, so
Well. We didn't include it in the podcast, but she compared herself to Michael.
Oh, right. We should give that little Easter egg here. So each time I asked her about it, and when I was on the phone with her, you didn't record it, obviously. Correct?
No.
I kept saying to her, why, if you were so innocent as you're saying, and she said, oh, everybody said I'm the greatest person of all time. I said, well, why did you plead guilty? And she said, I just compare myself to General Michael Flynn. Now, what she means is Flynn. Some people think Flynn pled guilty to help protect his son.
Yeah.
So she's saying that she did it for her sons. I guess Greg, who the charges were dropped against, and everyone else. I suppose that's what she means. But she's one of these people. You know, she won't answer your question. It's like, can you just answer the fucking question? And
there are some we've gotten some tips at the email, the case at barstoolsports.com. About another crime in the Brockton area that one of the Natali kids may have helped the police with, and that was the tit for tat that resulted in the charges being dropped against him. But
who knows?
It's just something we haven't explored because it's not really relevant to our investigation.
No, but I will say what I've said before, and I know a lot of people are paying attention, is that I will talk to anybody. I will do.
That is true. I can attest to that.
If it's 6 people are watching it, and it brings attention to this case, and then I'm happy to help. I'm happy to talk to. And me. I hate doing press normally.
Mm-hmm.
On this one, I've said to you, I'll talk to anybody.
Yeah, anybody. Just send us a DM at the Case Podcast on Twitter, or send us an email and we can set something up.
Anything else?
When you're in some pretty hairy situations, is there like anything that you could use to protect yourself?
Well, it's funny you mention that, Steve. The presenting sponsor of the case, our great friends at Taser, who are helping out some of the we should reach out to other family members as well of some of the missing.
Yeah. No, I think that's probably smart. I mean, obviously, there are people who have cooperated with us for this podcast who listen to it, and that includes the ad reads. And the Taser ad reads, piqued their interest because they're scared. They're scared. Yeah,
they want to protect themselves.
And I don't blame them. I mean, even without their cooperation and with this podcast, it's a rough neighborhood, and there's a lot of property crime as a result of the drug problems that they have down there.
And anywhere. I mean, look, it's a scary time right now, and if you want to protect yourself, you use the Taser Pulse Plus. I mean, easy to use. A guy like me, I've used it in the studio. I am not any marksman by nature. I'm not but it's easy to use and it's effective. That's the thing. And after you fire it sends off an emergency dispatch to help get you the help you need. Taser Pulse Plus, small. If you're a woman, it can fit in your purse or can fit in a bag. And look, it's a scary time. Whether you're going to your car at night, or you're concerned about something, or you just want to feel safe. That's where the Taser Pulse Plus comes in.
And it's safer than using a gun. If you're not comfortable being around a firearm, and you're worried about the danger that presents, the Taser is a safer option that will defend you just as well. And when you flick off the safety, a light comes on. It's got a laser targeter. Right. So it's dead simple to use.
Taser Pulse Plus. Was it taser.com?
Taser.com.
Taser.com.
Promo code Kirk.
Promo code the case.
Oh, yeah. Promo code case.
Taser.com. Promo code the case. Is that the right address?
I think it's case. Just case.
Oh, is it?
It is taser.com. I'll pull it up right now.
All right. Look at some of the questions from the dummies here. Somebody's asking, you mentioned you didn't look to find the disabled lady. You wonder if she might have any info about the case. I really don't think that Rena Conrad knows what happened to Jennifer.
Yeah, well, I mean, we had conversations about this, and I think that there was a little bit of not wanting to re-traumatize someone who like lived through a really, really horrible situation
and is developmentally disabled and is living whatever life she's living. I just want to leave her alone. I don't think. Look, if I thought that she had the answers, we would talk to her, but I don't think she has the answers. What is it?
Still looking for them.
Did you send it to me today?
I
must have it right
here.
here,
I think you have it printed out in front of you somewhere.
Just a second. Taser.com, promo code the case. Steve.
Okay. Right.
Taser.com,
You're right.
promo code the case. 15% is what you save right now. 15% at Taser.com, promo code the case. Taser.com, promo code the case.
Do you want to do more questions or
one or two more? And then we'll get out of here. People are busy, I'm sure.
How sad is Jerry?
I just saw a bunch, no?
No, I know the most recent one is about Rena. And it's just the Minifans are just posting stuff.
Nah, that's cool.
Yeah, so people can follow us on Twitter at The Case Podcast, Instagram at The Case Podcast. There's a great Facebook presence as well. People like to be able to comment and go back and forth and debate. And sometimes you're talking with somebody who's in Walhalla, somebody who grew up in Brockton. The Reddit thread is r/theCasePod, and the website is thecasepodcast.com.
Yeah. Yes, and I saw a couple of questions asking me nervous about getting all the episodes done on time. We're going to be fine. You're going to get, episode every Monday. And I will say this, you never, ever, ever, ever know. We might sneak one at you before noon Monday. You might just pay attention to your podcast, because you might get one dropped. You might get one dropped at midnight on a month. You never know, right?
Yeah, could be.
I like the idea of the anticipation building over the morning myself. I don't know about you. And I would never doubt the genius of Mikey Fowler.
Correct. Will there be more suspects in Walhalla that you have your sights set on?
Yes.
Or will that be in future episodes?
It'll be in future episodes.
Yes.
But yes, there are suspects, whether we've talked about them in Brockton, and there are other people in Walhalla, but I feel confident that the person we've talked about the most is, as law enforcement has told us, a serious person of interest in both cases. And as you'll learn on Monday, I don't know, we get so in the middle of this stuff, but I think Monday's episode is going to be the best one yet, and has the most sort of holy shit moments.
I think that there's going to be real world implications for this episode.
I think so.
There have been, frankly, for the first three. But I think this is one where the right people are going to have to say, holy shit.
And I think there's going to be some real anger in South Carolina toward certain people. But yeah. So, all right. So yeah, we'll be back. It's funny, originally, Steve, I don't know what happened. Maybe we'll do it next week or some other time. It's actually pretty interesting. We just essentially taped ourselves going over a couple of the lines of the episode. Mm-hmm. I thought we'd just run that as the episode, but I don't know what happened.
No, I flubbed it up. I didn't have the right graphic overlay on it when we recorded it. So no, that was all on me.
All right. No problem. All right. We'll talk to you next. Well, the episode's up noon on Monday. Again, if you're listening right now, I know we get a lot of viewers later on. Go subscribe if you haven't. Follow us on Twitter if you haven't, and all the other social media platforms. But I'm told this is important. 5-star review on iTunes. It would help us, I think, a lot. So we'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.